Hi, welcome to Love the Movie Troy. This is Troy and this is the channel where we talk about movies. So look, check me out. Spiral from the Book of Saw. This is the new Saw spinoff starring Chris Rock. I think it was written by him as well, or at least co-written by him, and he executive produced the movie as well. Yeah, Chris Rock, the comedian in Saw. That just trips me out in itself. It trips me out. But yeah, so this movie, like I said, it's a spinoff. So it's based in that world.
Jigsaw copycat.
It's gonna go sideways fast.
In this movie, you get the same gore, you get the same horror. You get what you come to expect in a Saw movie, and they actually did that very well. Like the shit, the disgusting, arms getting ripped off, or you having to do something disgusting or horrific to yourself to live. All that is in this movie, and it's done well. And if you enjoyed some of the creative ways that characters had to kill themselves or hurt themselves to live, you will enjoy it in this. It's just as good, and it's fun as well. It's fun, I'm not gonna lie. Now, you can tell Chris Rock wrote some of the stuff in this movie, because some of it is straight up like a Chris Rock stand-up in terms of some of the words and dialogue that's in this movie. It's so damn funny. The beginning scene, just remember the scene, is with Chris Rock, and it's basically like some of Chris Rock's stand-up. Like, Chris Rock, one of the funniest guys in the world, and you could tell it's the writing too. It's not just that it's Chris Rock and he's naturally funny. It's like some of the stuff that he would write as well, and this movie cracks me up in terms of delivering in the humor. They do that well. Sam Jackson and Chris Rock is funny as hell in this movie, and I know this isn't meant to be a comedy, and it's not. I don't get me wrong, it's not. And Chris Rock is actually playing this role very serious. He's not being a comedian in this role, but he's just funny as hell. So that worked. This movie took a very mystery type of approach to it. The point of this movie is Chris Rock is a detective, and he's trying to solve a bunch of murders that happen in the ways that Jigsaw killed people in the past, and he's trying to solve this murder, and he has a partner, and his partner is played by Max Minghella, and I gotta say, he was good. He did a good job. He played his role great. I thought he was going to be the corny cop that Chris Rock makes fun of throughout the entire movie, but he has more to his character, and he was fun. He was good, and Sam Jackson is always good. Sam Jackson was in the movie. He was funny as hell, and he did a good job. And one thing that worked very well to me in this movie was the mystery. The mystery was written pretty good. Like, sometimes mysteries in movies can be tricky, because if you predict the mystery, then was it really a good mystery? You know what I mean? And it was a couple times in this movie where I thought I could easily predict this like mystery and figure out everything in the movie, and I didn't. And I feel like if I predict a movie, then it's probably not written well, or it's too simplistic, because I'm not good at solving mysteries and things like that. So it was a couple times where I was like, oh, I clearly know who did this. And then I was like, oh, shit, no, not necessarily. So I think the mystery part was written fairly well. In terms of the negatives in this movie, now, like I said, the mystery was written pretty well, but I do feel like the whole script needed a rewrite. I think the whole script, because the plot was good. The plot, what they were going for, the mystery element, the detective, all of this kind of stuff, it was good. It worked. But sometimes scripts, like, you could tell this was like a first draft type of script. Like, it needed that rewrite. Some of the dialogue could have been better, and it just could have been sharpened up a little bit. And therefore, like, it didn't. There were certain things that just didn't really work well, in my opinion. Also, I'm not gonna lie, Chris Rock. Now, before I say what I'm going to say, I got to note that Chris Rock is one of the greatest comedians ever. He's one of the GOATs. If you don't have him number one or number two or number three, you better have him in your top 5, or else you really don't know comedy. This dude is a all-time great comedian. I mean, he has a Emmy, for Christ's sake, for one of his stand-up, and the dude has directed movies. He's starred and directed and produced a movie in top 5, which was good. He hosted the Oscars twice. I mean, the dude, he's just funny, and he's been in a lot of classic movies as well. But I don't think acting is his best skill set. I think, because I look at this movie and really his performance was not good. Now the thing is, he's trying. I'm not saying he's phoning in a performance or giving a bullshit performance. He's really trying to give a great performance in this movie. You could just tell. But some actors just don't have it. That's just what it was. Some actors, and it's funny because a lot of comedians really end up being great actors for some reason. If you look at Jamie Foxx, that started in comedy, or you look at Eddie Murphy, that started in comedy. Eddie Murphy is a really talented actor and really good at dramatic stuff. Will Smith started in comedy with The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and these guys have just really good talent and can be a great lead actor in a movie and carry a film. But Chris Rock, man, he really just had a hard time for me delivering dialogue. His dramatic acting looked like it was acting. Does that make, I don't know if that makes sense, but when you putting on a performance, you have to be in the moment and feel like, oh, I'm watching someone really going through what they're going through. I'm looking at Chris Rock and I'm like, dude, you're clearly acting. His face expressions and, it's crazy. And this is how you know Chris Rock is a great comedian, because when it came to delivering some funny dialogue, it was great. He was great, because it's him being him and he just doing some stand-up. He was perfect. But when it came to him having to really give that performance, I was like, listen, when your lead isn't that great of an actor, it weighs the whole movie down. If you take Denzel and put him in this lead role, it makes the movie way better. Another thing I had a problem with was it's a bunch of jump cuts in this movie, but mainly in the form of flashbacks. And to me, it was sloppy. The flashbacks was sloppy. With flashbacks, you got to be real careful. It's tricky with flashbacks, because flashbacks can make your movie feel like a mess. It's here, then it's here, then it's here, then it's here. For jump cut flashbacks to work, I honestly feel like it has to be structured. It has to be some kind of structure where you kind of get used to how the flashbacks go in the movie, where it feels like it's flowing right. And I felt like they didn't have any type of structure, or you just have very little flashbacks. If you have a flashback once or twice in your movie, then it's okay. But if you're gonna continuously have flashbacks in your movie, it has to be structured, and this movie wasn't. It was just random. Oh, here's a flashback. Oh shit, I didn't even, And the flashbacks were bad too. All the flashbacks was completely corny, bad, and it just wasn't really good filmmaking on the flashback parts. So listen, this movie here, I wouldn't say it's a dumpster fire. I'm not saying, look, don't go see this movie. Oh God, listen, I honestly think if you're a Saw fan, if you're into Jigsaw and his whole movie lineup, I think this movie falls right in. This movie is better than at least the last 2 Jigsaws. So I gotta, give it that credit. And so I don't think this movie is horrible. It really, man, this movie could have been great. It really had something special at the core of the movie. And I love the way the movie ended, and I love the way the movie played out. I just felt like it could have been a little bit better written, better edited, and slightly better directed. And if you put a better actor in the lead role, I think you would have had an all-time great horror type of movie. But they kind of dropped the ball. But honestly, I hope they do a sequel to Spiral, because I feel like if they can get it right, I think this was a good enough first movie to where if they could get the second movie right, it can start steamrolling a great new film series. So that's just my thoughts. I give it a 6 out of 10. I think you should go see it because everyone is going to have a different experience with this movie. It's that type of movie. I heard someone coming out the movie theater saying, this movie sucked, I hated it. And I also heard someone saying, why would someone say this movie's bad? I love this movie. So everyone's going to have their own experience with this movie. I say you go see it. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the movie. Thank y'all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'm out. Bye-bye.